What if I told you that an invisible force is draining your energy, sabotaging your mind, and pulling you away from your purpose? And even worse, what if this has been happening without you even realizing it? What if that emptiness you feel after certain habits isn't just in your head? What if something is keeping you trapped, feeding off your energy? Would you have the courage to face the truth? Close your eyes for a second. Imagine that. Every single day, something unseen is stealing your life force without your awareness. Now open your eyes and tell me, have you ever felt this? If this feeling has ever haunted you, stay right here, because in the next few minutes, I will show you something that could change your life forever. Have you ever felt like, no matter how hard you try to move forward in life, something is always pulling you back? As if your energy is being drained, leaving you trapped in a cycle of exhaustion, procrastination, and disconnection from your spiritual path? Pay close attention, because in the next few minutes, you will uncover a secret that almost no one dares to speak about. A secret that has been hidden for centuries, one that could be the key to reclaiming your strength, your clarity, and even your spiritual protection. But before we go any further, I need to warn you. This truth may be uncomfortable. It may challenge everything you believe, but if you have the courage to face it, your life will never be the same again. And now, here's the first question that could change everything. Could masturbation be silently sabotaging your spiritual energy? Maybe you felt this yourself. That strange fatigue, that lack of motivation, as if your life force is slipping away, leaving you weaker, more confused, and disconnected from your true path. This is not a coincidence. And today, I'm going to reveal 3 hidden secrets that no one has ever told you. 3 truths that, once understood, will make you see reality in a completely different way. Now, if you are truly one of the chosen ones, prove it. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This not only strengthens this message, but also helps others who are still trapped in illusion to find this truth. Join this awakening. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Help this message reach other chosen ones who are still lost in the illusion. And most importantly, I will reveal exactly what you need to do to break free from this cycle and restore your spiritual energy. Stay with me until the end, because the 3rd secret may be the most dangerous of all. Now, let's go straight to the first secret. Have you ever felt a strange sense of exhaustion, even without doing anything physically demanding? As if your mind is clouded, your motivation has vanished, and no matter how hard you try, something invisible is pulling you down? Now pay close attention, because this is not just ordinary fatigue or a lack of motivation. There is an invisible theft happening at this very moment, and very few people ever notice it. There are hidden forces that feed on your life energy, using extremely subtle strategies to drain everything that makes you spiritually strong and aware. And uncontrolled masturbation is one of the main access points for this silent energy drain. Stop for a moment and think. How many times right after this act have you felt an inexplicable emptiness? As if something precious had been taken from you. As if your inner strength, which once felt intact, was now shattered. This does not happen by chance. And it is not just a biological response. In the spiritual world, everything is energy. And sexual energy is not just a natural bodily impulse. It is the most powerful source of energy a human being possesses. It can be used to create, transform, and elevate your consciousness to higher levels, or it can be drained, redirected, and stolen by invisible forces that want to keep you weak and vulnerable. But why does this happen? Every time you give in to uncontrolled masturbation, your life force is released without purpose, without direction, without awareness. And this lost energy does not simply vanish into the air. It becomes food for entities that exist in the unseen realm. These entities do not want you to know this, because the less you understand, the easier it is for them to continue draining your strength. Have you ever noticed how, right after this act, you feel a kind of spiritual disconnection? As if it becomes harder to focus, pray, meditate, or simply feel inner peace? This is not a coincidence. Energetic drainage weakens your connection to the divine and places you in a low vibrational state where negative thoughts, guilt, and procrastination begin to settle in, like mental parasites. Now imagine this happening day after day, week after week, year after year. Every time this energy escapes without purpose, a piece of your essence is lost. You begin to struggle with focus, your willpower weakens, and that constant sense of tiredness becomes part of your daily life. Over time, you are no longer in control of your own energy. But how do you reverse this process? How do you close these energy leaks and reclaim everything that has been drained from you over the years? In the next few minutes, you will discover how to shield yourself from this energy theft, how to restore your strength, and most importantly, how to transform this energy into spiritual, mental, and physical power. But first, you need to understand something that no one has ever told you. What really happens in the invisible realm every time you fall into this cycle. And what you are about to discover could completely change the way you see your own reality. Keep watching, because what comes next may be the most important revelation of your life. Now that you understand how masturbation functions as a spiritual trap and the subtle signs that indicate your energy is being drained, we need to talk about what really happens when this energy is wasted. Because this is not just a simple biological habit, there is something much deeper and hidden behind it. Have you ever noticed that right after this act, there is a feeling of exhaustion, emptiness, as if something has been taken from you? This is not just psychological, it is real. And now, you are about to understand what really happens on an energetic and spiritual level when you give in to this cycle. 1. The power of your creative energy. Few people realize this, but sexual energy is one of the most powerful forms of life energy a human being possesses. It was not created merely for momentary pleasure, but as a force for creation, transformation, and divine connection. Since ancient times, spiritually advanced civilizations have known this truth. In occultism, esotericism, early Christianity, and even in certain Eastern philosophies, sexual energy was considered sacred. It has the power to create life, but it can also be transmuted to create new realities, strengthen the mind, expand consciousness, and elevate your vibration. But when this energy is constantly wasted, it does not simply disappear. It is absorbed. Absorbed by what? By whom? By forces that feed off your loss of power. 2. You are being drained without realizing it. Now, pay close attention. There is a reason why the more a person gives in to this cycle, the more they feel drained, lost, and unmotivated. Do you think it's a coincidence that after a period of excessive indulgence, you feel tired, unmotivated, and uninspired? The reality is that you are becoming an escape channel for your own energy. It is as if you are opening a valve and letting your life force drain away. And even worse, spiritual entities and invisible forces take advantage of this state of vulnerability. In the spiritual world, there is a concept known as energy parasites. These are beings that do not have their own source of energy, so they must feed on the energy of unaware humans. And guess what the most powerful and desired energy is? Sexual energy. Every time you give in to this uncontrolled cycle, you are, without realizing it, feeding something. Now stop and think. How many times have you felt drained, as if you lost something important, yet you couldn't explain what? This happens because you have lost a part of your life force. And the more this happens, the harder it becomes to restore your original energy. 3. What happens when you stop being drained? Here's something that very few people know. When you break this cycle and begin to preserve your energy, strange things start happening. The first thing you will notice is a drastic increase in mental clarity. You start noticing details that once went unnoticed. Your intuition strengthens. You begin to sense presences, patterns, and universal signs that once seemed invisible. And more than that, the world around you begins to respond differently to you. Have you ever noticed that people who are disciplined, self-controlled, and master their own energy seem to have a natural magnetism? This is not a coincidence. When you retain and channel your energy properly, your vibrational field strengthens. Your gaze changes, your posture changes, your presence becomes more powerful, and perhaps the most surprising part, your connection to the divine deepens. This is because when your life energy is intact, your spiritual vibration remains high. And the higher your vibration, the harder it becomes for external forces to interfere with you. What we are talking about here is not just a spiritual theory. It is a truth felt by anyone who decides to break this cycle and preserve their energy. Number 4, the hidden secret few know. Here's something no one tells you. Masturbation not only drains your energy, but it can also alter your spiritual timeline. What does that mean? It means that the more your vibration lowers, the further away you move from the path you were destined to follow. Every person is born with a mission, a path of experiences and connections leading to a greater purpose. But when a person's energy is constantly drained, they enter a state of low vibration. And here lies the danger. The longer you stay in this state, the further you drift from your true mission. Procrastination increases. Motivation disappears. Your sense of purpose begins to dissolve. And in the end, you become just another person, living on autopilot. But when you reclaim your energy, everything begins to change. Think about this for a moment. What if your true mission is being delayed simply because your energy is being drained? Now that you understand the truth about what happens when you lose your life force, the big question is, how can you break free from this cycle and reclaim your energy for good? That is exactly what we are about to reveal in the next part, and the answer might be more powerful than you can imagine. Now that you understand what happens on an energetic and spiritual level when you give in to the cycle of masturbation, it is time for the great revelation, how you can break free once and for all and reclaim your spiritual strength. Most people try to quit only with willpower, and they fail, because the true solution is not just about resisting the urge. It is about understanding the root of this cycle and replacing it with something greater. And that is exactly what you are about to learn now. 1. The first step. Understanding this is not just a habit. The biggest mistake people make is believing that masturbation is just a physical habit, when in reality, it is directly linked to your emotional and spiritual state. It becomes an addiction because it fills a void. But what is that void? In many cases, it is a lack of purpose, a lack of connection with something greater, a lack of meaning in life. The body seeks instant pleasure because the mind and soul are empty of true, lasting fulfillment. So the question you should ask is not, how do I stop? But rather, what is making me seek this? Because if you do not fill this void with something stronger, you will always be pulled back into the cycle. 2. Transmutation. The secret used by the chosen ones. The great spiritual masters have always taught this. Sexual energy should not be suppressed, it should be transmuted. But what does transmutation mean? It means channeling this energy into something greater. Because the truth is, you cannot simply eliminate a desire. What you can do is redirect this energy into something that makes you stronger. You can do this through physical exercise to transform this energy into vitality and strength. Meditation and prayer to elevate your vibration and direct this energy toward spirituality. Creativity and projects to use your creative force for something that gives your life meaning. Many people notice that when they start dedicating themselves intensely to something they love, the need for masturbation naturally fades. This happens because the brain now has something greater to focus on. 3. The power of self-discipline and reprogramming the brain. Here is something no one tells you. The more you give in to immediate pleasure, the weaker your brain becomes. This happens because masturbation creates a cycle of artificial dopamine. Your dopamine levels spike rapidly, but then crash, leaving you drained, unmotivated, and addicted to more stimulation. The secret to breaking free? Break the cycle and train your brain to seek pleasure in real achievements. This means drastically reducing the consumption of pornography and artificial stimulation. Training your brain to seek satisfaction in real success, not instant gratification. Creating powerful habits that replace the automatic impulse. The first week without masturbation will be difficult, but if you persist, something amazing happens. Your brain begins to rewire itself. Your energy returns. Your discipline strengthens. Your desire to succeed in life intensifies. Have you ever noticed that the most successful and spiritually strong people are those who master their own impulses? This is not a coincidence. It is science and spirituality working together. 4. Your environment could be your biggest enemy. Now pay attention. If you are surrounded by negative influences, it will be nearly impossible to escape this cycle. Many chosen ones fail, not because they are weak, but because their environment is designed to pull them back in. This means you need to change what you consume. Drastically reduce your time on social media, especially if it is filled with visual triggers that lead you back to the cycle. Distance yourself from content and environments that fuel this behavior. Surround yourself with content that raises your vibration and inspires you to grow. This might seem like a small detail, but in reality, it makes a huge difference. Because if you change your environment, you automatically change your mental programming. 5. The final secret, connecting with the divine. Here's something most people ignore. Alone, we are weak. But with God, we are unshakable. Masturbation is a form of spiritual disconnection. The more you give in to this habit, the more distant you feel from God. But when you choose to take control, your spiritual connection strengthens. So if you truly want to break free from this cycle, you need to pray every day, asking for strength and protection. Practice gratitude to reprogram your mind toward positivity. Seek a greater purpose and fully commit to it. Have you ever noticed that the more a person is focused on their mission, the less they care about empty pleasures? This happens because when you have something greater to live for, these distractions lose their power over you. And now the question is, will you continue living on autopilot, giving away your energy to forces that want to keep you weak? Or will you take control of your life and reclaim the power that has always been yours? The choice is yours. Now that you know how to break free from masturbation and reclaim your spiritual strength, the biggest question remains: what happens when you truly break this cycle? The truth is, most people have never experienced life at its full potential because they are constantly drained by habits that steal their energy. But those who break free, they experience a transformation that very few will ever understand. Now get ready, because in the next few minutes, you will see exactly what happens when you leave this cycle behind and access a level of strength and clarity that most people will never know. 1. An explosion of energy and vitality. The first impact happens at your energy level. Remember that constant fatigue? That heaviness, that lack of motivation, that feeling of always being drained? It disappears. Because finally, your energy is no longer being wasted. And the most incredible part, this energy doesn't just return, it multiplies. You feel your body stronger, your stamina skyrockets, and your desire to take action grows exponentially. Many men and women report that after just a few weeks without masturbation, they experience an incredible surge in physical vitality. You wake up feeling fully recharged. You feel physically stronger and more resistant. Your need for sleep decreases because your body recovers faster. It may sound unbelievable, but this is one of the first transformations that takes place. 2. Your mental clarity becomes unbreakable. Frequent masturbation doesn't just affect your body, it directly affects your brain. Every time you give in to instant pleasure, your brain is flooded with artificial dopamine, creating a mental fog that keeps you stuck in a cycle of low energy and low focus. But when you break free, your mind becomes razor sharp. You can focus much more easily. Your thoughts flow with absolute clarity. You make quick, precise decisions. And the best part? Your emotions become more balanced. Anxiety, insecurity, and mental confusion begin to fade away. For the first time in a long time, you feel like you have total control over your mind and emotions. 3. Your spiritual connection reaches a new level. Here's something most people don't realize. When you're trapped in the cycle of masturbation, your vibration drops. This creates an energetic blockage that disconnects you from feeling the divine fully. But when you break the cycle, something extraordinary happens. You start feeling the presence of God more intensely. Your intuition becomes incredibly sharp. You receive clearer signs and guidance from the universe. Many chosen ones report that after just a few weeks without masturbation, they begin having lucid dreams, stronger premonitions, and a heightened level of spiritual sensitivity like never before. This happens because your life energy is finally intact, and now you can direct it towards your connection with the sacred. 4. The world begins to see you differently. If you think these changes affect only you, you are wrong. The world around you starts to see you differently. Because your energy changes, people begin to respect you more. Your presence becomes magnetic. You start attracting opportunities that once seemed impossible. Why? Because you no longer carry the energy of someone who is weak and drained. Now, you radiate the presence of someone with purpose, discipline, and inner strength, and everyone notices it. 5. Your discipline becomes unbreakable. Now, pay attention to this. If you could overcome the impulse of masturbation, you gain a secret power, the power of absolute discipline. Because if you are able to master this desire, then there is no habit or behavior in your life that you cannot control. You develop an unshakable willpower. You become capable of committing to any goal. You finally take full control over your life. And this is the real secret of the chosen ones, the ones who achieve everything they desire. They learn to control themselves first. 6. Your manifestation ability explodes. Here's something that very few people understand. Your sexual energy is not just a physical force. It is also the energy of creation. When you waste this energy, your ability to manifest realities in your life weakens. But when you preserve and redirect it, everything changes. Your projects begin to move forward effortlessly. You start attracting exactly what you desire. Doors open with a level of ease that once seemed impossible. This happens because the energy you used to throw away is now being utilized to create and transform your reality. 7. Your destiny finally begins to reveal itself. The greatest change of all does not happen in your body, your mind, or the external world. It happens in your soul. Because, finally, you begin to see what you were truly meant to do in this world. Your purpose becomes clearer. You feel an inner calling towards something greater. You start realizing that everything that has happened up until now was training for this moment. And this is the great truth no one tells you. The chosen ones were never meant to live an ordinary life. But before they can step into their true role, they must first overcome their own weaknesses. And this is exactly where you are right now. So now the question is, will you continue wasting your energy and letting your destiny slip away? Or will you take control, become stronger, and finally live the life you were born to live? The choice is yours, and it will define your future. Now that you fully understand the deep impact this habit has on your energy, your mind, and your spiritual connection, we need to talk about something even more alarming: the hidden cycle that keeps you trapped, blocking your evolution and pulling you away from your true purpose. Maybe you have already tried to break free from this pattern. Maybe you made promises to yourself, decided to stop, but somehow you always ended up back in the same place. Why? The answer is simple, but terrifying. There is an invisible mechanism that has been programmed to keep you exactly where you are. 1. The cycle of instant pleasure and frequency drop. Every time you give in to this habit, your brain releases a massive amount of dopamine, the chemical responsible for pleasure and reward. The problem? Your brain gets used to this instant gratification and starts craving more and more. What happens next is a brutal decline in your vibrational energy. Have you ever noticed how after falling into this cycle, you feel drained, empty, or even guilty? This is not just psychological, it is energetic. Every time this happens, your vibration drops. You lose clarity, you lose focus, you feel more tired, you procrastinate. Your mind becomes more vulnerable to negative thoughts. And this keeps you trapped in a state of spiritual weakness, exactly where certain forces want you to be. 2. The reprogramming of your brain into dependence. What almost no one talks about is that, aside from spiritual energy loss, there is also a reprogramming happening inside your brain. This habit creates a neural pathway of dependence, making your brain constantly return to this easy source of pleasure. And here is the scariest part. Over time, your tolerance increases. What once was occasional becomes frequent. What once required a little stimulation now requires more and more. This is not a coincidence. Your own neurological system is being conditioned so that you become more and more dependent on this stimulus. And the result? You start losing control over your own energy. This explains why so many chosen ones, who feel a strong spiritual calling, end up drifting away from their purpose without even realizing it. 3. External interference. Is something keeping you trapped? Now let's talk about something no one dares to say. Have you ever noticed that when you try to break free from this cycle, suddenly your mind is flooded with more intense urges and thoughts than usual? This is not a coincidence. There is a reason why the world pushes you toward this habit. The media, the content that appears without you even searching for it, the triggers all around you. Everything seems to be programmed to keep you distracted and vulnerable. But what if this is more than just a psychological issue? What if there is an external influence actively trying to block your freedom? Many who have gone through this awakening process report the same pattern. The moment they decide to change, temptations and distractions suddenly increase, as if something is trying to pull them back. Maybe you have already noticed this happening in your own life. And if that is true, then ask yourself, what if this is the greatest sign that your energy is valuable and someone does not want you to reclaim it? 4. What happens when you break free from this cycle? Now, stop and think for a moment. What would happen if you completely freed yourself from this cycle? Imagine waking up every day with full energy, a clear mind, a strong purpose, and an unshakable connection to the divine. Imagine how your creativity, discipline, and intuition would multiply, how your life would begin to flow in ways that once seemed impossible. The truth is, this power has always been inside you, but someone has done everything to ensure that you never discover it. Now that you understand the hidden cycle that has kept you trapped, the next step is crucial: learning how to break free from it once and for all. And that is exactly what we are about to reveal. Now that you know the truth, what will you do with it? Now that you fully understand how deeply this cycle has impacted your life, energy, and mission, it is time for the most important moment of all: how to break free from this prison once and for all. Escaping this pattern is not just a matter of willpower. If it were that simple, millions of people around the world wouldn't still be trapped in the same cycle. The key to winning this battle lies in reprogramming your mind, restoring your energy, and shielding your spirituality. So how do you do that? 1. Breaking the mental pattern, the first step to freedom. The biggest mistake most people make when trying to break free from this cycle is thinking that they just need to decide to stop and everything will automatically be solved. But the truth is that your brain has already been conditioned to this behavior, and if you do not reprogram it, it will always pull you back in. The key to breaking this pattern is to interrupt the mental triggers. Every time you give in to this habit, there is an automatic sequence happening inside your mind. 1. A thought appears and activates the desire. 2. You give in to the impulse and release the energy. 3. Your brain receives dopamine and reinforces the cycle. To break this pattern, you need to interrupt the cycle before the point of no return. So how do you do this? Full awareness of triggers. Start paying attention to when and why these impulses arise. Is it out of boredom, stress, after consuming certain content? Once you identify the triggers, you can act before your mind takes over. Redirect your energy instantly. The moment you feel the impulse, get up and do something different immediately. Do not try to fight it in your head. Change your environment, move your body, take a deep breath. This deactivates the automatic pattern. The 5-second rule. As soon as the urge arises, count to 5 in your mind and take action. This technique prevents your brain from having time to rationalize and drag you back into the old behavior. 2. Transmuting your energy, the power of redirection. If you only try to suppress this energy, you will be wasting one of the greatest spiritual resources you possess. Sexual energy is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, and the key is not to block it, but to redirect it towards something greater. Great spiritual leaders and ancient masters have always known this. This energy has the power to awaken intuition, multiply manifestation abilities, and elevate your vibration to extraordinary levels. So, how do you transmute this force? 1. Intense physical activity. The moment you feel the impulse, use that energy for something productive. Work out, go for a walk, move your body. This channels the energy into strengthening your physical state. 2. Conscious breathing. Techniques like deep diaphragmatic breathing help redistribute energy throughout the body and dissolve built-up tension. 3. Creativity and productivity. Take this raw energy and use it to create something. Write, play an instrument, paint, build a project. This energy is a creative force, and when channeled into something productive, it transforms into real power. Re-establishing your spiritual connection. The missing energetic protection. Have you ever noticed that when you are spiritually strong, these impulses decrease drastically? This is not a coincidence. The stronger your connection to the divine, the more protected you are from external influences trying to keep you trapped in this cycle. Here are 3 powerful practices to restore your energy and reinforce your spiritual protection. Daily meditation and prayer. Even if it's just 10 minutes a day, this strengthens your energy field and aligns your vibration with higher forces. Conscious eating. Food carries frequency. The cleaner and more natural your diet, the more balanced your body and mind will be. Avoid content and environments that lower your vibration. Your surroundings directly impact your energy. Movies, music, people, and places can be triggers that keep you stuck in this cycle. Be selective with what you consume. 4. The commitment that changes everything. Define your why. Here's the harshest truth. If you don't have a strong enough purpose, you will always fall back into this cycle. Every time you feel the urge, ask yourself, does this make me stronger or weaker? Does this bring me closer to my mission or pull me away from it? Do I want to remain a prisoner of this cycle, or do I want total freedom? Having clarity about what is at stake will naturally shift your choices. And remember, if you don't control this energy, someone else will. 5. The final decision. Are you ready to break free? Now that you have the full map, the choice is in your hands. You can ignore this message, stay on autopilot, and continue letting your precious energy be drained. Or you can take control, break free from this cycle once and for all, and awaken your true power. The decision is yours. The chosen ones are those who choose. So, let me ask you, are you going to remain a prisoner of the system? Or will you step into your true power and reclaim the energy that was always yours? If you made it this far, it proves that you are not like the majority. Most people ignore the truth. They don't want to know that their energy is being drained. They don't want to wake up. But you felt something different, didn't you? Maybe it was a chill, an uneasiness, a deep feeling that everything spoken here made sense. This is not a coincidence. This message did not reach you by accident. The point of no return. Now that you see the truth, you can no longer pretend you don't know. Now, you have two options. 1. Ignore all of this and continue living on autopilot, trapped in this cycle that is stealing your energy, your mental clarity, and your spiritual connection. 2. Take control of your life, break this pattern, and awaken to a new level of power and consciousness. The choice is yours. But before you decide, think about this. Where will your life be 6 months from now if you keep doing exactly what you're doing today? What would your reality look like if all the energy you lose now was redirected toward building your future? How would your life change if you finally broke free from this invisible burden and awakened your true strength? The chosen ones are those who make a decision. The path of the chosen begins today. If you feel that you were called for something greater, if this message resonated deep within you, then that means this is your moment. But remember, knowing the truth is not enough. The only thing that truly matters is what you do with this truth. You can close this video right now and continue as you always have, or you can take the first real step toward your transformation. And now, I want to know, who do you choose to be from today forward? Leave your comment below and tell me. Have you ever felt like this cycle was weakening you? What resonated most with you in this video? And if this message impacted you in any way, share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because the truth is, many are still asleep, but you are not. You have awakened. Now everything depends on you.